What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Black Irish, aka Rovon Hill, coming at you. I am a lifelong Notre Dame fan. I think I've been a fan since like 88, 87, 88, since I was like 8 years old. And I just want to come at y'all, and I just want to start this channel as it's way more ghettoer than I'm sorry, I know ghettoer ain't a word, but I was supposed to have my studio set up, and apparently that ain't happening today. So I'm just giving it to y'all raw off the phone, off the dome. You know what I'm saying? We're moving to the studio, I guess next week. But like I said, I'm a lifelong Notre Dame fan. I am currently a comedian in Chicago, and there is somebody, and they working on a Sunday. It's something they working on Sunday. Hey, they be working hard over here. Anyway, lifelong Notre Dame fan. I just want to give y'all preview the team, talk about the team that I love the most, Notre Dame. You know, we came so close last year, and I'm gonna be keeping y'all updated. Like I said, I'm not no insider. I don't have any knowledge of anything other than what I see, what I hear, you know. And I'm just gonna give it to y'all raw, like how I do, baby. I'm gonna start off right now by giving y'all a recap of last season, which, as we all know, we came up one step short of the ultimate goal, which is winning the national championship. But all in all, you got to say that is a great season for Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame program, which points us going in the right direction headed into this year. They started off the year, once again, everybody with a Notre Dame doubt and a Notre Dame hate. And they won the first game, came out swinging against Texas A&M on the road at night in a hostile environment. And then, as we all know, they lost the next week to Northern Illinois. Everybody thought fire Marcus, and it's over with. What was that? His third year? That was supposed to third year jump. Like Lou took and Era and everybody who won the championship at Notre Dame. And everything was going bad. And then Marcus Freeman rallied the troops. They started locking in more. And as y'all know, they made a run to the national championship game. Once again, coming up just short to Ohio State, who looked good yesterday, especially defensive, and they won the national championship. Now, with that being said, I'm not gonna sit up here and say that if Notre Dame was healthy, they would have won the game against Ohio State, because I don't know if they had the passing game. No offense to Riley Leonard, I don't know if they had the passing game to keep up with Ohio State to play the type of game they needed to play. And with our injuries on the defensive line from Boubacar Traore and Jordan Botello, and Howard Cross was hurt most of the year, and Riley Mills was out of the game. So basically, we didn't have the pass. I feel like we didn't have a pass rush to affect Ohio State good enough, and we didn't have our dogs up front playing at 100%. Of course, we was like I said, we was out without Riley Mills, so it was just basically an injured Howard Cross in there trying to hold it down, and it wasn't good enough to stop the Ohio State offense. The positives coming out of that game was that Jaden Grayhouse, the last two games against two good defenses, Penn State and Ohio State, he went off. So that means coming into this year, we expect him to pick up where he left off, of course, with C.J. Carr as the new starting quarterback. So, and also in that game, Jeremiah Love was hurt. So we didn't get the full Jeremiah Love. We couldn't really use him like we needed to. And overall, we shocked everybody. We shocked a lot of people. We shocked everybody but us. Because I sure had us on FanDuel winning that thing. Man, once again, I got us on the FanDuel bet winning that game tonight. As a matter of fact, when I jump off here, I got to put my parlays down because, they got the good betting deals going on right now. Get on over to FanDuel or whatever you bet on. You know, I got Jeremiah Love going on, having a good game. I expect him to have 20 some touches, but we ain't into that right now. We're still wrapping up last year. So, wrapping up last year, one game short of the national championship. I mean, one game from the national championship. We got there, but we didn't win it. So, going into the offseason, Notre Dame had to address the biggest issue, which is quarterback. It was going into the season, it was a three-man competition. We're going into camp. between Steve Angeli, C.J. Carr, and Kenny Minchey. And also you had to replace Xavier Watts, who will be starting for the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. You had to replace Riley Mills, Howard Cross, and what was old boy's name from Duke that was supposed to do sacks, and he only got one, but it was against Georgia. Oben. You had to replace Jack Kaiser, and that's pretty much it. So going into the offseason, especially spring ball, the quarterback competition between Minchey, Angeli, and C.J. Carr eventually came down to C.J. Carr and Kenny Minchey outplaying Steve Angeli, which caused him to transfer to Syracuse, which he played yesterday. He had a decent game. They was a little bit overwhelmed by who was it they lost to? Tennessee. I was kind of hoping he looked good, just to make it seem like we had 4 good quarterbacks on the roster, which we still do now, but he's not here. So then it came down to C.J. Carr against Kenny Minchey for the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. And for all intents and purposes, it was a real battle. It was a real duel. Everybody out there trying to make it seem like, oh, well, we don't know about Notre Dame quarterback situation because C.J. Carr barely won it. So that means he wasn't good enough. No, that means Kenny Minchey was in there balling, making it a tough decision on Marcus Freeman and the staff to see who they was going to pick as the starting quarterback. It didn't mean that C.J. Carr wasn't doing his thing. What was happening was C.J. Carr was turning the ball over more than Kenny Minchey, but it wasn't because he was making not smart decisions. It was because he a gunslinger. He got that dog in him, and he feel like he can make the plays because he got that arm. You know what I'm saying? And you rather him try to do that in camp rather than in a game. Not saying that you don't want him to do it in the game, because Notre Dame big issue the last 3-4 years, maybe going back a little bit further than that, with Jack Cohen, what's his name, Hartman, and even last year with Riley Leonard, is we haven't been able to consistently throw the ball down the field because either they wouldn't throw it or their arms not strong enough, and for whatever reason, as receivers, it's been a whole mix with the passing game. So, what we hoping this year with C.J. Carr and or Kenny Minchey, whoever won the quarterback battle, was that we knew that we was going to be able to push the ball down the field, and that our passing game will be able to expand more, and that Denver can be able to open that thing up like he did at LSU. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it's going to be the same thing as Daniels and those receivers they had at LSU, but it's going to be a little bit more explosive. So Kenny Minchey was taking care of the ball more. He was being more of a general, but C.J. Carr eventually beat him out and won the starting job, which a lot of people already thought going into the offseason. But like I said, Kenny Minchey battled better than people thought, and he gave it a good try. So that means now, if anything so happens to happen to CJ, that's pretty good. Happen to CJ. We know that we got a decent backup, because if he go out, bang, we put in Kenny, and Kenny got them wheels too, a little bit more than CJ. But CJ is not a stiff in the backfield either. So don't think he just gonna be back there taking sacks. Now he's not as mobile or as Riley or as Kenny, but he's definitely not just no statue sitting back there. So don't think he just gonna be back there getting sacked like Jack Cohen and kind of Sam Hartman. Now Sam Hartman can move out a little bit. He might be like at the same mobility as like a Sam Hartman, I'm thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? A little bit like that. So with that being said, CJ just kind of wrapped that thing up like right to like a week before game prep for Miami started. So shout out to CJ Carr. So that means this year we going into the season against Miami with CJ Carr, the highly rated 4-star quarterback, almost a 5-star, as we all know, grandson of Lloyd Carr, and he's going to take over the reins. And with that being said, I expect the offense, like I said, to be better this year than last year, because First off, the line is going to be way better. You starting off with Anthony Knapp, who started all. I think was he the only. I think he was the only tackle to play all the games last year. That started all the games last year. Or am I wrong? No, I think it was him. Anyway, you know that Knapp started most of the games last year as a freshman, true freshman, at left tackle. He retained that starting spot. He's going to be left tackle this year. Billy Schrauff, who once he came back to the lineup and was put on that left side next to Anthony Knapp, really started to elevate the Notre Dame run game. He is one of the top linemen. He's definitely an NFL prospect. Don't know if he'll go this year, maybe next year, but he's definitely an NFL prospect. He's one of the best offensive guards in the nation. And we got Ashton Craig, the center. He's coming back from, I don't know what his injury was last year, but he didn't play last year. He got hurt early on in camp, and he was out the whole season. So he's back. He was projected to be an All-American last year. So with him coming back, that's going to upgrade the offensive line. And as we all know, the only battle with Charles Jagusah, the projected starter, who everybody thought was the most talented lineman coming into the season, also looked at as a possible first or second round NFL draft pick. Once he got hurt in a freak ATV accident, he went out, and then we had to replace him with either what a starter was supposed to be. Who was it? Sullivan Absher. That's what people thought. But then out of nowhere, Gerby Lambert, the highly touted 4-star, I think he might have been a 5-star recruit, who was supposed to be a tackle, but since we got the tackle sold up, you know, he had to move in there, and I don't think he'd never played guard a day in his life, and he went in there and just won the starting spot at guard. So that means he's also a projected first-round talent. That's probably why he won the spot, because he went in there and beat out Absher, and he's a big boy. So now we got a lot of beef on the right side of the line, and I expect us to come out there tonight and just, woo-hoo-hoo, they ain't gonna bear the storm, man. We gonna pound that rock down their throat. You know what I'm saying? Because first off, it's gonna be raining, and second of all, is just what we do. So the offensive line, I expect the offense to be better just from that fact alone. The offensive line not only played damn near 16, 17 games last year, not all together, not all at the same time, but they pretty experienced, more experienced than last year, you know. So then, of course, we return the best backfield in the nation, I think, in my opinion. I think the best stable of running backs with, of course, the best running back in the nation, Jeremiah Love. Then his backup, Jadarian Price. Then the third down back, Aeneas Williams. And unfortunately, we had an injury where sophomore Keedron Young, who was slated to probably take some carries away from them boys, he got hurt. So now we still got Jabron Payne. He's back from injury from last year. I thought he was going to transfer. He didn't transfer. And now we also have the freshman. What's his name? Number 1, Aeneas Williams Jr. The dude from Jersey. Damn, I got his name now. It'll come to me when I'm thinking about it. He's also been having a great camp. And Nolan James, the freshman from Jersey, he is going to he might get a chance to do a little something, you know what I'm saying? But we, this year more than last year, will need the running backs to probably get more yards than they did because the lack of Riley Leonard in the running game. I think he had how many yards? I think he had 400 to 600 yards. I know that's a big shift, but he was somewhere in there. He might have more than that, now that I think about it. I don't think he had more than 600, though. Point being, when you take away the running of Riley Leonard, you have more opportunities for Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price to get more carries. That's why I was thinking that Keedron Young will come in and maybe play like a short yardage back, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. And I think because Jeremiah Love actually had, 1,125 some yards last year, and Jadarian had 750. And Jeremiah Love had 17 touchdowns. Jadarian had 7. I think that those numbers are going to go up for both of those guys. And like I said, maybe even Aeneas Williams may even have some his numbers go up a little bit, like I said, with the lack of running from Riley Leonard. Um, Receiving core, which this year I think is a little bit upgraded than last year, where you have the incoming transfers of Malachi Fields from Virginia, and you got Will Paulin from Wisconsin, who then came in and established himself as a captain already. So you know he's a very impressive young man if you didn't already done that. Especially as a receiver, that's wild. That mean that man got some good character. He's a pro. Sounds like a pro. I don't know if he's NFL pro, but pro somewhere in life pro. Life pro. That's pretty good. That's not easy to do, to come in from another school and establish yourself as a captain, especially at a position like receiver, which is not really like a you know what I'm saying, a captain position. So you added them to Jaden Greathouse, who, like I said, the last couple games of the playoffs last year against Penn State and Ohio State went off. So we expected him to do big things this year. And also we got what is he? Is sophomore now? Jordan Faison coming back. This year he concentrated more on football than lacrosse. And you can tell that him and Jaden been hitting the weight room, and them boys look a little bit more explosive than they did last year. So the passing game should be more explosive this year than it was last year. We also got incoming freshman Elijah Burris, he been doing some things in camp, but he's still a little bit, he got the physical, he ain't got the mental yet. But we got them. We like 4 deep. We more than 4 deep, because you got Micah Gilbert, who been doing this thing for the second year in a row, and then they said that KK Smith and Logan Saldate been having good camps. So I don't know if we're gonna go that far deep into the receiving core, especially tonight. Even though it will be hot out there, I think these first couple games you're gonna have the main guys play, the main 4 to 5 guys play, which is Greathouse, Faison, Fields, and Paulin. But then I think as we've progressed into the season, you're going to see more of Gilbert, Soldate, and KK Smith. And hopefully one of these days, maybe Cam Williams will go ahead and get on the field so we can see his potential that we all been waiting to see for the last couple years. So I'm expecting the offense to be a little bit more explosive. I don't know, maybe tonight. I'm still thinking we might put up 31 on them tonight, you know what I'm saying? And it might be a what they call a torrential downpour. It's going to be raining. The field is going to be slick. It's going to be muddy. Somebody played that yesterday. I don't know who it was, but I'm expecting that from the offense this year. I'm expecting us to be able to throw for at least, I mean, this is on average. I'm not saying about tonight. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm expecting CJ Carr to throw for like at least 3,700 yards this year. At least like 27 touchdowns, maybe 10, 11 picks. You know what I'm saying? I'm expecting Malachi Fields to maybe go for maybe close to 1,000. I'm expecting Greathouse to get close to 1,000. Will Paulin, and between Will Paulin and Faison, I'm expecting them guys to get between 5 to 600 yards. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna get to the tight ends. The tight ends this year coming in. Ooh, it was one of the iffy positions coming into the year, because which is crazy to say at Notre Dame, who is basically tight end you. If you didn't know, now you know. And we didn't have for sure. Well, we did have one for sure guy, Eli Raridan, which we've been waiting for him to break out. The last couple years, he's been kind of playing a number 2 role, coming off 2 injuries. He got an ACL coming into college. Oh, excuse me. And he had another injury last year. So last year he had 3 touchdowns. He had a couple like 7. He didn't have a lot of catches last year. As a matter of fact, the Notre Dame tight ends really didn't produce for the first time in a long time like we expected them to. We can't have that this year, because we're going to need them to be open up that middle of the field so that we can get them deep. But everybody is expecting Eli Raridan to have a big year. We lost, before the season, what's 87 name? Flanagan? Nah, it's not Flanagan. 87 name. We lost number 87. I think about it when I ain't thinking about it. Before the year. And then after I think another injury, Kevin Bauman retired from football. So a slim room got a little bit slimmer. And that means we really counting on Eli Raridan to carry a big load this year, because we go because we don't know what we gonna get. We got Jack Larson, who's a sophomore. They say he had a pretty good camp. We got the freshman Flanagan. He might have to contribute. He gonna have to contribute. And then we have the transfer from Arkansas, Ty Hamilton, Ty Washington. Um, he's gonna have to contribute, but he's been hurt. So we don't really know what we gonna get from the tight ends. But as long as Reardon and maybe Larson or Flanagan can step up, I think we should be pretty good. And I think we're gonna be using Jeremiah Love out the backfield a little bit more, hopefully in the slot. They say they're supposed to be playing a little bit more two back this year, so let's get both of our running backs on the field at the same time, like I be doing in NCAA 25. I ain't got 26 yet. Holler at your guala if you want to get down. Funny Shmoney 1. Get at me. Let's put something on it too. So one of the iffy positions is tight end, but I'm expecting Eli Reardon to have a big year this year. I'm expecting to have at least 45 catches, maybe 400 yards, at least five to six touchdowns. I'm expecting to have a big year, and I don't know if he's gonna go to the league or not, but he probably can sneak into the third round somewhere. Defensively, Notre Dame made some changes on that side of the ball, most notably the loss of Al Golden, who was the defensive coordinator for the last 3 years. They brought in Chris Ash, who was a coordinator in the NFL. He's going to bring I'm not going to say less aggressive style, but more zone than Golden, who played majority man-to-man, as we all know. Probably not going to blitz as much, but might not have to with what we got on the edges this year. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to change it up too much, because why would you? You know what I'm saying? We finished in the top 3 last year. I think, once again, we got the talent to do that and maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Ohio State was looking pretty good yesterday, but Texas was looking pretty good. But it seems like all the defenses are looking pretty good so far, because, as we all know, there's no preseason in college football. So the offenses are going to be behind the defenses. And what it looked like right now is the defenses are way ahead of the offenses, and our defense ain't gonna be no different. Our defense is gonna come out, and I think they're gonna kick some ass tonight. I'm just letting you know right now. I think they're gonna put the smack down on these boys. But Chris Ash inherited a great defense, and of course he's gonna keep it going because Marcus Freeman, as we all know, is a defensive coach. And the one thing he ain't gonna do is let that D slip. And so I'm expecting Ash to pretty much keep everything kind of the same, but with his own little NFL twist, which I hope is fooling the quarterbacks a little bit more, throwing more interceptions than we had last year. So with that being said, we starting off on the defensive line. Like I said, we got our defensive ends coming back. We lost last year, Boubacar Trey Orr, and I think he's going to be starting along with Bryce Young. It's either going to be Boubacar or it might be Boubacar and Josh Burnham. What I say? Jordan Botello was back. I think they said he might play, but man, he came back from he hurt his ACL, missed every game after the Purdue game or before the Purdue game, and then he came back from that injury, then only to come back again. And I think they said what his pec. And now they say he might be available to play tonight. I'm not sure. Either way it goes, he's back this year, along with Boubacar. He's back this year. And now you still have Josh Burnham, Jr., and now you have Logan Thomas, who's a sophomore, who played last year. He got some snaps towards the end of the season. And then you have the Chris Burgess. What is he he's a freshman? If he's a freshman or sophomore. I think he's a freshman. You have him coming off the edge. You have Bryce Young, who's now a sophomore, who I expect to take a big jump this year. And now we might not have to use as much blitzes as we did last year with Al Golden, because the difference is we will have more superior talent coming off the edge than we did last year, especially in the playoffs. We was down to Junior and Josh, and they was out there fighting their ass off, and Bryce was out there fighting his ass off, and Oben was out there, but he don't know what he was doing. He did have that sack against Georgia. I will give Oben this. He did have that sack against Georgia, but other than that, where was he at? Where are you? So that went from like kind of a weakness last year to a strength real quick. And We're not going to talk about next year, but I will say this. Next year's team is going to be better than this year's team and better than last year's team. FYI, you heard it here first, Black Irish, Rovon Hill. Moving inside to the defensive tackles, which we lost probably the heart and soul of our defense, along with Xavier Watts, the big boys in the middle, being Riley Mills and Howard Cross. Which, like I say, Cross was hurt most of last year. He was out there giving it his all, but he was wounded, and Riley Mills was out after the Indiana game. So losing those big boys was a blow to the defense, but we reloaded, and we brought some people back. We brought our big boy Jason Onye back, who they said has had one of the best camps they had seen in a long time. Marcus Freeman said that. We also brought back, I'm about to say Donovan Hines. Is it Donovan? Yes, Donovan Hines, Kirk Hines' brother. He's going to be starting. Those are our two starting defensive tackles. And we brought in our transfers from Louisville. What's his name? Jared Dawson. And also Armel Mookum. And Sean Sevillano. And what's his name? Davis. Deontay Davis. Dixon Davis. His name is either Davis or Dixon, the big boy, sophomore. They say he had a good camp. So the question is that everybody has more so up front than anything is who's going to be the defensive tackles, and we also got Gabe Rubio, big boy. So we get a little bit bigger up front besides Heinisch, who's the smaller, more three technique, upfield pressure, pass rush type of guy. Other than that, everybody's a pretty big. I think everybody's like 280 and up. I think Armel is like 280, 290. But most of them boys is 280 and up. So that means we got a little bit more beef up front. And if we get the push that we think we're going to get from them, it's going to be hard to run up against Notre Dame. And I think they're going to end up with a top 3 defense, if not a number 1 defense this year. Moving back a little bit to the linebackers, we bring back probably, I think, the most talented, fastest, instinctive group of linebackers in the country, with that being Drake Bowen. Starting with Drake Bowen, let's start there. As middle linebacker, we got our boy Jaden Sneed, who's finally locked and loaded. Jaden Sneed finally locked and loaded, that 5-star talent. He's ready to explode this year. You can tell because he beat out the very talented sophomore, Kingston Viliamuasa, who everybody just assumed would just step into that weak side linebacker role next to Drake Bowen with the loss of Jay Kaiser. Our boy Jalen Sneed said he put on like 20 pounds. He like 249. He still got the athleticism. He still can run. And now it seems like he knows exactly where to be. And that means in order for him to win that spot over Kingston, he had to do something. He had to be out there balling. And we expecting big things from him this year. I think he's gonna show out and put on the show. Behind them, we got the true freshman, what's his name? Madden Ferramo. I don't think he really gonna see the field that much except in blowout and cleanup duty. And then we got Jaden Osbury, who's I think he might have put on a little bit of weight, but he still got his explosiveness because they moved him to nickel. Well, they ain't moved him to nickel. They had him playing nickel. And if you're a linebacker and you can play nickel, that means he's going to be using him in some big nickel situations. He's going to be blitzing, going to be spying on the quarterback. I think we got the best linebacking core in the nation, man. And I think them boys going to prove it. I think everybody going to come out and have a big year this year, led by Drake Bowen. But I think Jalen Sneed is going to make some highlight plays, but he's also going to make the simple plays that we've been waiting for him to make. And I think he's going to have a great year. Now, moving to the strength of the defense, which is crazy, the number 1, this is without a doubt. I don't know, the linebackers might be top 3, top 5, maybe wherever you want to put them, but this is without a doubt the number 1 defensive backfield in the nation, led by Leonard Moore and Christian Gray, the 2 best combo corners in the nation, in my opinion. Leonard Moore going into his sophomore year. I should be putting. No, I ain't gonna. Trying to see him have this food out a little bit. I don't want to get all a little soggy on me, and now I'm trying. But Leonard Moore, He's a preseason All-American. He's the second. Uh, they had him as the second ranked corner on the game in 2026. I think he's number one. Obviously biased, but don't worry about it. He's locked down. Ain't nobody gonna want to throw his way all year. And then on the other side, Christian Gray going into his junior year, true junior year. He had a pretty good year last year, a little up and down, but he redeemed himself, and I think he's gonna be locked and loaded going to his junior year. You ain't gonna want to throw the ball his way. And then heading the nickelback, I think we done upgraded our nickelback every year since Marcus Freeman been here, and he always went into the portal to get one. I think this might be the last year we do that, and we did that with Alabama transfer Devontae Smith, who's like, I think he's supposed to be like a mixture of Jordan Clark and who was the old boy? Was that Jordan Clark last year? And Jordan Clark and the other nickel we had before that. His name eludes me right now. But he's supposed to be like a mixture of them two, except he can hit a little bit better, maybe a more athletic, and he might actually be a projected NFL prospect. So with that being said, we also brought in Jalen Stroman, safety from Virginia Tech, who was a projected, I think they said like third round pick or day 2 pick, whatever he was at safety. He's also supposed to be a very hard hitter and a pretty good center fielder as well. He's supposed to be the starter next to a Don Schuler, backed up by Luke Talladge, and also my boy, who I can't wait to see get on the field and make some plays, Tay Johnson. He obviously is going to be part of the 3-man or 4-man rotation at safety. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I guarantee you Tay going to get on that field. And when Tay get on that field, Tay going to do some things. Behind them is a talented freshman, Jadon Blair. I hope we get to see what he can do this year, but it's probably not going to come until we play some lesser teams and some blowout time. So you probably won't see him unless on special teams tonight against Miami or probably against Texas A&M. Behind the cornerbacks, we got freshman Mark Zachary and Dallas Golden, who I can't wait to see. I hope Dallas is part of the special teams as far as returning, because that boy is explosive. Or Scrap Richardson, because that boy is explosive. But they probably put Greathouse back there. But anyway, those two freshmen they the backup. So, they obviously have proven themselves to be worthy enough to, if something happens, or they the next man up. We also had, Chance Tucker. What's that athletic dude name? The other one. Shit. I think it is Chance Tucker, though. He's supposed to be a freak athlete. He's going to be like, I think, backup nickel. All in all, this year I expect Notre Dame to go undefeated and win a national championship. That's what I've been saying all this to get to. Black Irish, man. It's your boy, Rovon here. I want you to like, comment, subscribe. And I want y'all to let me know. And here's the thing. I'm thinking about going live during the game and kind of live streaming it. But like I say, once I get my faculties and facilities up, I'm also going to be doing a preview of this game tonight against Miami. Y'all can check that out. But I'm your boy, Rovon Hill. Expect to hear a lot more from me. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Black Irish, I'm out.